Hi guys, welcome back. Today's video I'll be showing you how to repair a puncture in a small inflatable boat. Punctures are a very common problem with SIBs. If you know how to repair them yourself, you can really save yourself from having to replace your boat altogether. So let's take a look. So before we get started, let's go over the materials that you'll need for this repair. With my SIB, it's a Honwave. It comes with a repair kit included. Standard stuff in there. You get a patch, obviously, some adhesive, and then you're going to need some cleaning solution, a towel. You need to make sure that the correct adhesive is used for your particular boat's material. So yeah, check your boat's manual or contact the manufacturer for advice about the exact adhesive. This is the one that comes with the Honwave repair kit, so that's obviously going to be fine for my SIB. So step one is to obviously locate the puncture itself. If it's a large hole or a rip, that's going to be fairly easy to spot, but if it's a tiny little pinhole puncture, that can be fairly tricky to actually find. One possible method is to inflate the SIB and then listen for any air escaping. Another good tip is to use some soapy water, just a bit of soap, mix it with some water, then you can spray it around where you think the puncture may be. So I know that it's somewhere in the floor on this left-hand chamber. It might be the valve, but I suspect it is a tiny hole somewhere in the floor in this front section somewhere here. So I'm just going to use my soapy water. I've already inflated it halfway with the foot pump. You don't need it to be fully inflated, you just need enough air for it to hopefully show us where the puncture is. So it's half inflated, and I'll take my soapy water, just start spraying it around, see if I can see any bubbles coming up. So far nothing is coming up around the valve. Let's try over this area. Just put a light spray of soapy water, and hopefully we'll see something coming up, some bubbles appearing. Here we go, right here. Hopefully you can see that. I've got bubbles coming up, very small bubbles coming up. So there's a tiny puncture there. That's where I thought it was. Let's just check around the general area as well in case there's any more. Let's give it a spray around everywhere. Look up here. Not seeing anything else. This is clearly the main puncture there. Let's do a quick check down here. Doesn't look like there's anything else, luckily. And down here. Nope, not seeing anything else. This is clearly it here, very visible here. Good, yep, so I'd say we've definitely located the source of the puncture. A tiny little pinhole puncture here. So what I'll do next is dry it off, make sure it's clean and dry, then we'll begin the patching process. Okay, so after you've located the puncture, and then you've thoroughly cleaned and dried the area, removed any debris, grease, any of that stuff, make sure it's nice and clean and dry, then you can go ahead and actually prepare a patch to go over the puncture. So yeah, in my repair kit it has instructions on this. Essentially cut out a small circle shaped patch. I just used a lid as a template for this. Yeah, cut out a small circular patch, and then we'll begin applying the glue in stages. So let's make a circle. You can see I've done one before. Just cut this out. Do it quite rough to start with, and you can trim it up afterwards. So that's our circular patch ready to go. Next stage is to begin applying the adhesive. Let's get that done. Okay, so what we want to do, according to my repair procedures here, we want to apply 3 thin, even coats of glue on one side of the patch. I'm putting it on this smooth side of the patch. So 1 thin layer on the patch, 1 thin layer on the boat. Do that 3 times with 5 minutes in between each coat. So let's get started with the first thin coat. Just put a bit on there. Using a little brush just to smooth it out. Might need a little bit more than that. Spread it over the whole patch like that, and then we'll do the same on the spot on the boat where the hole is. So we're back by the boat now. I've made a circle around the actual hole and then a larger circle where the actual patch will go. It's all clean and dry. I've got the boat on a nice hard flat surface. I've also deflated it now, so there's no air in this chamber at all anymore. Nice and flat and stable. So let's do the same process. Apply a bit of glue here. Use the brush to spread it around. Just a thin coat to start with. Like such. Then we'll give that 5 minutes. Then we'll repeat that again. Another thin coat on the patch and another thin coat here. Okay, time for the second layer. Second layer on the boat now. Wait another 5 minutes, and then do it again. Okay, final layer. And the final layer on the boat as well. After this, we'll give it 15 minutes before we put the patch on. Okay, so it's been about 10 to 15 minutes of drying. We're now ready to place the patch onto the boat. Place it on nicely like that. Start pressing it down. Use a little roller to really flatten it down and roll out any air bubbles. Roll from the middle towards the outside. Pressing down nice and firmly. Okay, so we're giving that lots of pressure, really push that down hard. Feels pretty good. So now we'll just cover it up with a cloth, just like this. And put something flat and heavy on top I've just got an old bunch of books here. I find these work pretty well. Make sure that sits nice and flat. Then just leave that for basically 24 hours until you re-inflate it. And then we'll make sure there's no more bubbles coming out, but that should do the job. So there we have it, guys. Pretty quick and simple DIY puncture repair on my Honwave inflatable boat. Yeah, give it 24 hours after patching before you re-inflate. Then you can test it again with the soapy water just to make sure there's no little bubbles coming out of the patch. But yeah, if you follow that guide, you should be absolutely fine. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.